I tried out some new thing where I've got my like webcam on a tripod, so it's not like way up here looking down at my head. I can actually like look at it. I don't know if it's going to make a difference or not, or if you guys care, but just there's that on a Monday. My name is Patrick. I run the marketing team here at Art Storefronts. And what are we going to do today? Going to show you a little bit about the software. Taylor's going to come on and talk about that for a little bit, and then you'll be back to me. I'll talk about some of like the big picture stuff. I'll give you some more on what we do, and then most importantly, we'll want to get into the Q&A. Any questions you might have about what we do, about your art business, about things you're hung up on. It can be just about anything. So I'll look forward to getting into that. And on that note, Taylor, you can go ahead and get started, and I'll see you afterwards.
All right, everybody, welcome to today's session. My name's Taylor. I'm on the marketing team at Art Storefronts, one of the people putting together our many resources and consulting and mentoring our members on a regular basis in workshops like these. Today's session is for non-members, so this is a free, wide-open session, and how it's a little bit different than what you get as a member. Our member workshops, which we hold 5 times a week at this point on various topics, are largely tactical, right? So it's giving our members ongoing advice, tweaks to their strategy, checking in with them, seeing how far they've gotten since we last spoke, and making sure their business is always growing. By contrast, today will be largely about what we call unclogging the drain. Before you're even ready for tactical or strategic advice, you need to get the big thing out of the way. And we found through these non-member workshops that most artists and photographers out there have something. They have a big thing in their way. It can be a mindset problem, some kind of self-limiting belief that if you just simply do away with it, the path becomes clear. Or it could be something more practical, like not doing something that you really need to be doing. Whatever it is, we're going to find out about it today and fix it for you. Before we get into all that good stuff, I have 2 segments for you up top here, opening remarks. The first one, stuff you need to know about this workshop, how it works. The second, a little bit of an overview on Art Storefronts, just to get some context, set the stage, who we are and what we do. First up, the need to know information about today's workshop. To get in line to chat with us, right? To get unmuted and start to get some help, you need to use the raise hand button in Zoom. So at the bottom of your Zoom window, you'll see the participants button. You're going to hit that, and that'll open this on the right-hand side, where you'll find the blue raise hand button. You hit that, and that will do it. Raise hand. You'll see up here, your name will show the blue raise hand button. That's the system we use. We go top to bottom, unmuting everyone that has their hand raised and helping them out. So if you have a question up front, you want to talk to us, you can do that right now and get early in line, so you'll be one of the first people to get some help today. If something comes up later and you don't have a question yet, but something comes to mind, you can always do it later in the session too. The second thing you need to know is that we have a page that we call the show notes. And that's where we aggregate all of the links to resources that come up today. So if one of us says we have a really good video about that, or we say we actually have a podcast episode that would help you out, you don't need to be hunting around for that in the moment. We're doing that for you. We're collecting it all. Here's what the page looks like. We're going to send this to you after today's session ends. We're going to email it to you. So you'll find the replay at the top. Right, so if you have to leave early or you arrived late, or even if you missed it altogether, you can always catch up with the replay here. And then this is the show notes section I was talking about. All the links will be there, everything that came up. So you'll have that. Don't worry about looking anything up. In the moment, we're taking care of it. I should also mention on this page while you're here, there are a couple of request a demo buttons. Those are your go-to spots for either signing up if you just want to get going, or reaching out to us, having a more in-depth chat about our features and our pricing and stuff like that. That's how you start those conversations. If you just want to do your research and get to know us, see if there's a good fit, you hit the request a demo button, you fill out the form, and we'll get in touch. That's how you do that. Okay, second segment today, what even is Art Storefronts, okay? So here is the very quick overview. And like I said, the demo is where they go in depth. They'll do an hour for you. They'll answer as many questions as you have. But today, I don't know how many people here already know everything about us, nothing about us. So I'll just go right down the middle and do a very quick overview. There are 2 halves to Art Storefronts. There is the website software, right? So that is the art selling website. And then there's the marketing program, and that is really the fuel for that website engine. The website could be fantastic. We believe it's the best website software for artists ever designed. We really believe that, and I'll show you why in a moment. However, all of the power of that website is meaningless if there's no one on it. So the marketing program is what completes the whole membership. I'll show you both halves now, starting with the website. There are hundreds of features. It is very difficult to give you a full overview of everything that's going on with this software. So I think I will just show you what's really most important, right? The product page. At the end of the day, everything on your website is designed around getting people here to the product page where then they can check out and buy your artwork. So what is the big deal with these product pages? To explain that, let's just clarify that I'm showing you an artwork product page today. That's the important one. We also have what we call standard product pages, and that's where you can sell anything. If you have ceramics, jewelry, clothing, you can sell all of those product types on art storefronts. It does not need to be solely wall art, specifically to sell wall art. That's in contrast to a website provider like Squarespace that has to have their product pages work for all product types, whether you're selling artwork or toilet paper or electric scooters, right? It works for everything, which creates a master of none situation when it comes to their features. They have not considered artwork in particular, so they have not addressed the problems, the challenges with selling artwork online like we have. The big deal with selling artwork online is that there is a lot of friction. It is not a product like toilet paper or electric scooters where you want what it does and you find the one that you like and you buy it. It's a little more complicated than that. Buying art is an emotional journey. You fall in love with the work, you get to know the artist through their emails and their social media posts, you save up for it, eventually you get the wall space open, but even then you have questions like which piece should I select and how is it going to look with my wall paint color, how's it going to work with the other pieces of artwork in my collection? Will my spouse like it? How do I show it to them in the best way? What are the media types available? I've never heard of this word acrylic. Is that worth looking into? What size is going to work for my space? I don't want it to look too small or of course too big. All of these questions are where you lose sales. People have those questions, your website does not answer them, and they never get it answered, they leave. You cannot rely on people reaching out to you actively to ask these questions, right? Your website needs to passively answer them for you all the time. Whenever that question comes up, whichever one it is, your website comes in and says, oh, here you go. Got the help for you right here. Problem solved. Keep going. Keep making the purchase, right? That is what maximizes art sales. Let's start by just looking at the layout of the page. Image on the left, buying options on the right. Not below, not somewhere down the page you need to scroll to find. Everything is visible on one screen, and it's all expanded. There's not drop downs. Everything is image based. This is like the express lane to checking out artwork online. Beyond that, you can offer every version of an image side by side. The open edition prints are right here. With one click, you can start shopping the limited edition prints, signed and numbered, highest quality, that sort of thing. With another click, you're over to the original version of that image. If the original is available, you could step up and buy it right here. Finally, the multi-panel. This is where you break up a single image into 3 prints, right? So it's a huge upsell. You turn one print sale into 3, very sleek and modern presentation. I love that one. If you don't offer one of these media types, like you're a photographer, so you don't have originals, you wouldn't have this tab on your website. This is just showing all the possible options, but you'll set it up to whatever you actually offer. So if you don't have limited editions, it's gone. It's not on your actual site. It adapts to what you actually sell. Within these, let's look at the open edition prints. Now, the big challenge there is explaining the media types. The average art consumer does not know terms like canvas gallery wrap, giclée print, metal, acrylic. They don't know what these look like. They don't know what they are. So it becomes difficult to make a smart decision until they do. So the website's job is to educate them very quickly and visually. So here's how we've done that. When you click on one of the media types, the preview over on the left-hand side adapts in a subtle way. So this adds a little bit of virtual depth to this image because we selected the canvas option. That clues people in, oh, this is that traditional thick gallery look. Beyond that, maybe they don't know what metal is, you can hover on these tooltips here, the little question marks, and then you can launch a video. These are custom videos we've produced just for our members that show every angle of these media types and summarize the benefits. They're about 15 seconds long, and they instantly create that connection of, oh, that is what I want. Very powerful. Beyond those buying tools, you have the visualization tools. This is for questions like, I love the piece, I know I want it on metal, I'm just not sure if it's really gonna look good in my space, or how large I should buy. That's where the visualization tools come in. Wall preview is the starter there. You can select a room type, and you can get going very quickly, a good representation of what size you need, right? So let's step it up. The 30, that looks good. The 32 looks even better, right? You're stepping it in. We've got wall color here. These aren't random. These are the top selling paint colors from last year from Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams. So there's a high likelihood your buyers will actually find their real wall color right in here. Very simple, very fast. So this helps clear up some of those questions, but we take it to the next level with live room preview. You can see the button here and also on the product page right here, live preview AR. This is an augmented reality tool that allows people to use their mobile or tablet device to visualize the artwork on their actual wall, not a virtual space, not a hypothetical wall, their actual wall space. So you can see in this video here, it projects it onto their wall. They can start to select the sizing and see how everything looks. They can move it around the wall space. And now there is no translation problem, right? It is not close to their wall color or whatever. It is their real actual space. The most powerful part of this feature, because other websites have this type of functionality via an app. Ours works in the web browser. There is no downloading and installing an app. They're right in the checkout process. They pop open this tool. It works on their phone. They close the tool once they're happy and they continue checking out. That is the game-changing part of it. So overall, I think that does a good job of summarizing a few of the features of the product page here, but that is your drop in the bucket overview. It goes on and on. Art Buyer AI recognizes and informs you when a likely collector has visited your site. We have tools that allow you to fire off very quick emails to welcome personally new subscribers, to reach out when someone has added something to their cart but not checked out, right? Give you a shot to close that sale. The features really go on and on, QR codes, selling sheets. I couldn't possibly summarize it today. Request a demo if you want to see a little bit more, but that is the engine. The Ferrari in your driveway. Let's talk about the fuel that goes in it, the marketing program. Of course, when it comes to artists, you guys do not want to be marketing. I understand that completely. You want to be creating the work and selling it. That's it. But the in-between step is very necessary, and it is marketing. So let's talk about how we make that process as painless as possible while still getting you doing the work that you must do to grow a small business. The centerpiece to our marketing program, where it all comes back to, is the art marketing calendar. That is the core piece. Everything else just supports this. The marketing calendar is a daily plan that tells you exactly what to do every single day of the year. It provides you with all the email language you'll need to pull off sales, a Black Friday sale, something like that. And it gives you the advice that you need to turn your casual followers into leads. That's people on your email list. Your leads into first-time buyers, and your buyers into lifelong repeat collectors. We walk you through it on a daily basis. It is not overwhelming. It is not a knowledge base where you need to watch 55 videos and then just implement what they said. All you need to do is look at today. We're on Wednesday. What do they say to do? I have 3 tasks to complete. It should take me about 30 minutes. Let's do it. 3 tasks. 1, 2, 3, knocked it out. You have done what you need to do for your business today. It's that simple. Let's look at what this thing is. So up top, attention newbies. This is a section with 4 steps we want our new members to complete before they get down to the full calendar. Some highlights here. We have a workshop every Wednesday where our marketing team will look at your new Art Storefronts website, go through the major pages, and make sure that it's set up according to best practices from a marketing point of view, right? So before you even launch, you make sure you're going to be closing every possible sale. We also have a campaign, a 14-day campaign that we want all new members to execute. It's just like the calendar. It tells you what to do day by day. Post this message on Facebook and post this message on Instagram and send this email. Very simple to follow. And that campaign is themed around celebrating your new website in a way that will generate you some leads and maybe some sales too right up top. So we ask everyone to do that before getting into the calendar with everyone else. Below the newbie section, we have the live workshop schedule that has your look at what's coming up this week, when you can join us in Zoom in our members only workshops. We have some announcements that go here. We have a strategic overview, step 3. This section is written by our CEO and our director of marketing, and in it, they give you their advice, what they would do if they were running your business this month, where your head should be at, right? So the calendar below is your daily bit-by-bit look. This section is the high-level overview, what you should be thinking about your major goals for the month. And then you have the calendar itself. You can see it's day by day. We have a bit of hierarchy here where we put the most important tasks in red and everything else in black. Nothing goes on here that's not important to do, right? So the black tasks are not unimportant. It's just that if you have very limited time, you have family obligations, a part or full-time job, and you can't get to the entire calendar, no problem. Do the red stuff first, and then if you have extra time, do the black tasks. Most people have no problem completing 75% or more of the calendar, though. It's not a huge obligation because we do so much of the work up front for you in terms of writing the subject lines you should be sending and giving you lots of examples whenever anything needs to be created. It's day by day. You've got the major task of the day, and then you've got Go to Tasks, a button that jumps you down the page to the full explanation of the day. It'll give you an objective for the day and then break down what you need to be doing into tasks. 1, 2, 3, do these things. Very easy to follow. Everything else, like I said, supports this system. So our workshops in general are supporting our members as they're following this calendar. You check in with us, you say, I did the Saturday, Sunday task, and I got these results. What can I do to boost them even further? Or I see next week I need to be doing this, but I don't have my head around it fully yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? All that sort of stuff. We make sure our members are moving together through the calendar all at the same time. When we do something new, right? So we've recently started doing these live art shows. We have a playbook on how to execute a live art show from home. And our members are having some huge successes with this, selling dozens of pieces from home on Instagram or Facebook Live. That is an example of something where after everyone does this together, we have hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people running these live shows simultaneously. Then the following week, we have 6 or 7 or 8 of the people that had the most success with that strategy come on a live workshop for our members and just talk through what they did. We hear out, how did they address it specifically? Was there anything that was a little different than anyone else? How did they see that success? That way all of the members can hear what's working from the other members, and then we go ahead and update all of our playbooks with the new learnings. So there is nothing in this program that is static, that is a dead blog post style article from 6 years ago that may or may not be relevant today. We are updating these things on a weekly basis, checking in with our members. If enough people report that this part didn't work for them, it didn't really seem to do anything, it gets pulled out, right? We are live adjusting all of our resources so that when you join in, you get the learnings of the past several years just baked into everything. So I've talked a lot about how our members interact with us, get mentorship and consulting from us via the workshops, but we also have a venue for them to get help from each other when they need to talk shop or just get input from a whole bunch of artists really quick on a topic like, how do you address shipping? How do you go about some kind of tax situation? All that sort of stuff. The Small Wins Facebook group is the place for that. It's private, just for our members, and that is where they go to ask for help, share their small wins, as we call it, all the little successes that stack up into a successful business. Does anyone know how to patent or copyright a design? Get some help from our members on that. So this is the place to go when you need to quickly poll a huge group of people that have gotten further than you, right? That already have gotten where you want to go and have the learnings, the quick learnings that they can summarize for you. Between all of these resources that all fall back on the calendar, you have a marketing system that keeps you in line, that keeps you moving, that does not simply present you with 1,000 hours of content and asks you to explore it at your own pace, figure out for yourself which things you should be following and which things you should ignore. This is about the calendar. It's about cutting out all the time you waste thinking about what you should and shouldn't be doing. That is the time saver here, the big game changer. You no longer need to think about all the possible things. We've already done that. We've highlighted what you should be doing, the best return on your time. All right, that is my rant. I was going to say short rant. I know it wasn't short, but it's very difficult to compress everything we have going on into a format like this. So thanks for listening. Again, the website is your engine. The marketing program is the fuel for that engine. So with that said, let's get into the consulting. I think we're all on the same page now, so let's do that drain unclogging I talked about in the beginning. I'll turn it over to our hosts.
Thanks, Taylor. And yeah, that part was pre-recorded, but we're back to live now. So I know some of you guys have heard my spiel because I see familiar faces already, but some of you haven't. So I'll try to go short and sweet. But essentially, we went through the software portion, we went through the marketing portion. What does all that combined to be? We're attempting to obliterate the starving artist problem. That's sort of like our raison d'etre, our big mission. And following up with that, we sort of have this goal of putting our customers, potential customers, on the path to $100,000 a year plus art business. Yes, that's a big number. Yes, that's an especially big number if you've not sold any work and you're just here and you're trying to get your feet wet, trying to understand how things work. But you aim for the stars, you land in the clouds. It needs to be an aspirational number. Not all of our customers are after $100,000 a year business, but you aim high, you 10x what your goals are, and you obviously get to where you normally want to be. So that's one part of it. The first criticism that always comes up, it's like, oh, so all your customers have $100,000 a year businesses? No, absolutely not. They don't. But we've got a whole bunch of them on a path to getting there, and we do have quite a few that are already there. Not the vast majority. A lot are just getting started. A lot of it's a side hustle, right? They still have a full-time job. They aspirationally want to be a full-time artist or full-time photographer, and everything in between. So we have a total mixed bag. We think underpinning being on the path to 100K a year plus art business, there's 5 pillars. Okay. The 4 pillars that I want to get into, the first one is the most important because the first one is what we call unclogging the drain. Since the pandemic hit, I've been doing Zoom sessions 2 and 3 times a week between customers and non-customers, talking to literally hundreds of artists and photographers in video chats just like this. Turns out pattern recognition is a real thing. I have enough reps and sets that I've heard the same stuff over and over and over in 100 different facets and everything else. Why unclog the drain? Because if I get you on the path to 100K a year art business, I need to pull the nonsense and crap that is stuck in your drain, get it out of the way so these other things can flow in. Yes, it's procrastinating. Yes, it's being a perfectionist. But yes, it's thinking, there exists some sort of website that you can magically upload your images to, not do any marketing work, and have a $100,000 a year business. Doesn't exist. That there's some sort of high net worth investor, a high net worth buyer list, that if you could just get access to that email list and send your emails to it, you'd be doing fine. Or if you just knew what sizes were the hottest selling sizes, you could figure it out. Or beliefs that say, I just don't know what my niche is, and until I figure it out, I can't do it. Or I just need to work on my website a little bit more. Once I work on it, I'll get it there. Or, my media types are just too weird. It's not something that most people understand. It's not something that I could sell online. There's all these various different iterations and variations of this, okay? Until you get that nonsense pulled out of the drain, the other 4 can't go down. So what we're gonna find once we get into the Q&A, you're going to be surprised how much of it is going to be the nonsense that's stuck in the drain. It's all right. We all get it. I mean, I get it too. We rip that crap out, okay? We rip that crap out. The other 4 can go in. What are the other 4? Pretty simple. The first one, okay, is critical. You would think everyone would have this figured out. They don't. It's called understanding the business model, okay? It's DTC or DIE, direct to consumer. There's no middlemen. There's no one else in the way. You own all of your customer data as it should be. The pandemic has really helped clear the decks on this one for us because everyone used to have gallery arrangements, 50-50 split, 60-40 split, 70-30 split, and those have been pretty much wiped out, not coming back at the pace that they were. The shows, the fairs, everything else, you're paying the booth fees, you're driving around doing that, or the relationships you have with the online galleries, which are probably still okay, the Etsy's, the Fine Arts, the Redbubbles. If you're thrilled, if you're blessed enough to be doing well on those, most people aren't, you're not keeping your customer data, okay? You are not getting 100% of the revenue from those sales, and that's just a recipe for disaster. You have to be DTC. You have to understand the business model. The people that were DTC before the pandemic hit, they didn't get smoked as hard as everyone else did. That's just the reality. The art business has changed. You do not need anyone else to help you sell your work. It's quite easy to do on your own. You just have to do the marketing work to get there. So DTC, we firmly believe that the fact that most artists and photographers for many years were not DTC, it's like a tongue twister, direct to consumer, no middlemen, is one of the primary reasons for the starving artist problem. That is no way to run a business. It is no way to run a business where you create the thing gets sold, and then you don't get any data on your buyer, and you can't market to the buyer in perpetuity. It's ridiculous. So you don't have to get a whole lot of things right, but this is one of those ones, if you get it wrong, you're in big trouble. So understand the business model, DTC. Number 3, secret to effective marketing. I've been doing hardcore tactical digital marketing for the last 20 years. Taking me a long time to figure this secret out. You know what it is? There is no secret. I keep saying that, and I feel like everyone's already heard it, but it's true. It's understanding what the high ROI, okay, return on investment, marketing techniques and tactics are. 1, I know that because I've been marketing a long time and I'm good at it. 2, I have the benefit of 4,000 plus customers that are all selling art. I look at their data quite intently. I know what works and what doesn't, okay? I know that Pinterest is not going to sell any damn art or photography for you. Might make you feel good. Might be enjoyable to share some stuff on there, some pins. I have not seen any data where people are driving traffic from Pinterest and selling a bunch of art. So I have the ability to tell you, Mary, Brian, Laura, do not market on Pinterest. Done. Look at the weight I just took off your shoulders. You don't even have to worry about that crap anymore. Now we get focused on the stuff that is high ROI, that I know that I can say confidently to be doing. And in marketing, the stuff you ignore is just as important in what you focus on. It's amazing. Like the amount of shiny objects that get bolted in, and people telling you this thing works and that thing works, and it's all nonsense. So if you focus on the high ROI, return on investment, time, treasure, energy, effort, and then the second one, you do it consistently. No one ever does it consistently. No one ever does it consistently. You get so fired up. This is going to be my year. I'm going to take it seriously. You start marketing. You make 6 Facebook posts. You pour yourself a glass of wine. You're like, this is awesome. You wait for the money to come rolling in. It doesn't, and you quit. Okay? How many variations have I heard of that over the years? Massive amount. You have to do so consistently. Doing so consistently, it's more important to do it consistently with the hours that you have allotted. Say Richard, say Mark, say Janet, you guys each have 3 hours a week to put into it. Fine. I'll take 3 hours a week, but do it 52 weeks in a row. And do not miss. The consistency is everything. That's how you build up the momentum, you get going, everything else, okay? Number 4, the inputs, what we like to call the inputs. 2 varieties of this. One is you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And, the other one is thinking of the news analogy. Like if you shut off the news, cable, print, radio, TV, all of it, how much better would you feel about yourself, your country, your neighbors, your life? Like you feel incredible, right? Like for whatever reason, there's just so many inputs that are getting bombarded on artists from people that are not selling, okay, that are not making any money. They're not successful, and they tell you art doesn't sell online. This is no way to make a career. Art's not selling, period, anywhere. It's all the Apocalypse Now stuff. Like artists just get sucked up in this. Photographers get sucked up in this, and then it gets all negative town and everything else. So you have to control your inputs, and you have to get some inputs from people that are actually selling things. And there are so many people out there telling you conclusively that they know this, that, or the other, and they have not sold anything. You've got to get that crap out of your life. Otherwise, you're never going to get there, right? The 5th, the final, perspective, okay? The perspective on how long it takes. You do not build a direct-to-consumer online business into a successful entity in 2 weeks, in 6 months, in a year and a half, 2 years. I'm not saying you can't have some early successes, some better than others, but to build anything, an entity online of lasting value, 3 to 5 years. And it starts really getting good in year 7, 8, 9, 10. Good news is you're an artist or photographer. That's not going to change, okay? You can go and be an accountant and decide you don't want to be an accountant. When you're an artist or photographer, you love that so much, it's very difficult to ever get away from that. That's who you are. That's how you were made, right? You're going to be that in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, your 90s, assuming we all make it that long, right? Like God willing. So you have this opportunity to grow this huge, tremendous business, but no one ever has the perspective of how long it might actually take to do that. So you get those things right. I think you're on the path. You can be on the path towards building that successful business. So that's what I would say. I can see some hands up already. I'm just going to go through the questions one at a time. You guys can literally ask anything you like about the software, about the marketing, about various different things that you've got going on in your business that you think are unique to you. If you want to be on video, fantastic. We'd love to see you. If you don't, I get that. I hate video. You can throw them in the chat too, and we can deal with them in the chat. So I'll start off today with Paula. I'm going to ask you to unmute Paula. This is a new button. I just updated Zoom and never seen it.
Hi, did I do it?
Yeah, you did it. You did great.
Yeah, I've been watching your presentations for the last couple weeks.
By the way, is it annoying to
And-
have to hear all that over again? I'm asking seriously.
No, I'm not complaining at all.
Okay, good.
But I wanted to share one of my experiences with you.
Okay.
I'm a professional artist and I've been painting a long time.
Okay.
I just haven't been selling, but I am going to. I don't know. It's like a shyness. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm trying to show you something here. Can you see that?
Yep.
It's a canvas wrap of one of my drawings.
Mhm.
I have purchased from a company in Amsterdam
Okay.
what you're tying into your website, which I really like because not everybody can afford one of my original paintings.
Yep.
I have a large market of people who would like a copy of my paintings.
Okay.
So I have experimented with local printers and not so local, mailing out a couple things.
Mhm.
One thing I learned is that I use metallic colors. It doesn't come out so well. So that has to be in the consideration
Mhm.
for the print aspect of your business model. I really like, and I like, because you're right. People think of art more as decorations for their home. It's like a Christmas tree or something, where us artists, we're looking at it differently. Anyway, it's a product.
Yes.
And my concern is that not every shape that I paint can scale to a print. I've had problems with that. I've had problems with prints being off register
Mhm.
and colors.
Who told you those were problems with the prints? So did your customers tell you that, or did you come up with that?
Me, I had them all sent to me to evaluate them
Yeah.
because it's very important to me that my products be high quality.
For sure.
I don't want to be a schlock artist at any time.
For sure.
So
For
I've
sure.
just ordered, one of this and one of that to see what works and what doesn't. I haven't.
The larger point that I'm making is that the printing is the least of the problems. The printing has been so ironed out 9 ways to Sunday, I can't even begin to tell you. Not an issue
But
at
not
all.
with metallic colors?
Not with metallic
too?
anything. And to be honest with you, Paul, I know where you are, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for you having the integrity, control your product, right? And understand, like, I'm not going to put out anything unless it meets with my high demands. I'm just telling you, I know you have not sold those and had a customer return it because it was crappy. Have you? Because they don't have the same level of discernment. Now, I'm not saying you just go and throw what you throw out there in the market.
Actually, you're right. I haven't sold much because
Paula, there you go.
I am crazy perfectionist.
I know. You're in the way, Paula. You're in the way. So,
Yeah.
like, this is the perfect example, right? Like, and again,
It is
I'm not being
actually
critical.
true. Some pieces don't scale right, and that is
For sure,
important.
for sure. But I'm not being critical here, Paula, because I've been in it. You are self-sabotaging the hell out of your business, up it, down it, left
No,
it,
I'm
right
not
it. If you took,
self-sabotaging.
Paula,
I'm
let me
trying
talk.
to
Let me
ask
talk.
you.
If you took these products to market, okay, and you put them out, and let's just say this wasn't COVID, and you had an art booth, and you could sell all of them, and I didn't let you do the selling. I did the selling for you, and everyone came in and bought all these things and left, and no one said anything about the sizes, about the scaling, about the metallic, about the quality of the print. What would you do at that point in time, right? So the larger sentiment is you don't know if this is a problem until the market tells you that this is a problem. And it doesn't matter if it's print permanence in your case, or the shipping costs, or this or that. Everyone likes to think they can outsmart the market. Only the market can tell you what product you have, if it's good, it's viable, and they want it, and if there's any issues with it in print permanence or anything else. So you don't know what you don't know until you take it to market. The stuff you might be stressing about, your customers could care less about. It might be something else, and you just don't know.
On the metallic painting, they did notice it was different and didn't like it. I showed it to many friends.
Okay.
All the other ones, I'm being too picky.
Yeah. The larger point is,
right on that,
yeah,
but
you need to take it to the market.
It is a problem.
Okay. And so
But yeah, you have a point.
Yeah. No, I know. The printers that we use, whether like, you can do whatever you want, all the above. You can self-fulfill. If you're doing originals, obviously you ship your own originals. If you want to partner with Art Printer so you don't have to waste any of the time in the printing period, you can do that. We use Graphic Dimensions, which is one huge one on the East Coast. We use Bay Photo, huge one on the West Coast. And they have every printer, every ink, every media type imaginable. Like the printing has been solved. It's utterly, literally, truly, and if anyone prints on here, I don't mean to knock your artistic craft, but in the grand scheme of things, it's become a commodity. The printing has just become a commodity. They all use the same printers. They all use the same inks. They all have the same color proofing technology. They all can produce the exact same product, and it can be perfect. So, you give them the image they can send you a sample, you sign off on it, you're never going to have an issue. So that's what I would say about the printing.
Okay, thank you.
Next one. Okay, next up is Jack. Go ahead, Jack. And it's probably going to ask you to unmute. It says ask to unmute, or you might need to hit the microphone thing down below. Gotcha. Hey, gotcha.
I just hit unmuted. I hope you hear me now.
We sure can.
Okay. I am a designer. I'm an old guy that is a designer and designs on my laptop with my mouse, and I gave a website. That's the only place that I post my stuff.
Okay.
My question is, how can your service help someone like me who is just doing basic shirt designs?
Yeah, I mean, is that your primary product, is selling shirts?
Well, I would like to sell it more than that, but all I do at this moment is just create artwork on my laptop with my mouse in a program that's a vector art program.
Yep. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I think if you wanted to sell, like, it really just depends on what you wanted to sell, right? Like, if you just want to sell T-shirts, okay, you just want to sell T-shirts, that's fine. We can table that for a second. If you wanted to sell fine art is fine too. But, if you're using a site like Redbubble, they're taking a split. Yes, they're helping you manufacture the stuff. You're not really building your own personal business, right? You're not retaining all your customer data. So you have to decide if you want to do the marketing and turn it into a serious business, right? And if you do want to do that, we have the path to show you how to do that. You could sell T-shirts on ours just as well. Although, the issue with T-shirts, in contrast to the fine art, and I should say this as a guy that my first business with a clothing company right out of high school, the margins on T-shirts are extremely low, right? And the purchase price is not exactly terribly high either. So to make a ton of money selling those, you need to sell quite a few T-shirts, right? Which is okay if you're getting into, lots of retail stores with them and doing big buys, or you have like tremendous traffic coming. But to sell, to make a good amount of money on T-shirts, you have to do massive volume. To do fine art, which you have a little bit more control over the pricing and the margins, you can charge much higher, and so you have to sell less to make more. So that's what I would say about T-shirts.
Sure. Well, and I agree with you. I think that that's probably the next step to go. I just didn't know how my artwork would convert over to being sold on your platform. But, again, I have to get involved in doing it all, which is understandable.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
I just didn't know whether or not it would be a fit.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're selling well currently, and I'm sort of scanning your site here, if you're selling well on Redbubble, then the market's telling you that you have a product that they want, that they like your artistic style and such. And so at that point, you can get into it and start going. It's all about validation first, right? Like,
Yes.
there's a lot of people that think they have validation when they don't have validation. So I should explain that because it is critically important. If you sold your art or photography to people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, friends, good friends, okay, these people would lay in traffic for you. They love you. If random people, strangers that don't know you, have bought the work, more than a few times, then you're ready to go and get going with your marketing. Then you've actually validated your product. But I think a lot of artists and photographers fall into this pit where they think they've done that, but they haven't done that. They haven't done enough of it, right? It's still been family or friends. Like, you need to sort of validate you have what the market wants. And, no one's saying that you're a bad photographer or a bad artist if your particular style is not selling well. Like, two of the people that we have on our platform that are killing it, like well into six figures each. One was sitting in an art fair booth on her feet all day, one day for 8 hours, barely selling anything. And she's like, what am I doing with my life? This is terrible. I got to quit. Pivoted her style, business took off. Same thing. Another one of our artists, ready to hang it up, had done 2 years of the show circuits. Nothing was really taking off or going well. he's like, I think I'm just going to quit. I got to go get a regular job. I got to go do something else. And then he changed his style and the business took off. So it's all about whether the market wants your product. In both of their cases, when they switched to something that the market truly wanted and like exploded, night and day difference. So if you have validation and you feel like you're good on validation and you want to build a lasting business, yes, I'd say we can help you. But you have to sort of get to the bottom of those first, right?
Well, then I should probably get back in here and sign up for a demo and talk with you guys
Yeah,
again.
at least kick the tires and see it all, and then I mean, there's no pressure on the demo. The reason we do the demo is because there's so many bells and whistles and everything else into the software that it would take entirely too long. We wouldn't get to any questions. So you can do that and then kick the tires, talk to those guys, and then make the call. You know.
I appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for spending time.
No, it's my pleasure, Jack. Thanks. Have a great day. Okay, up next is Gordy. You'll need to unmute, Gordy. I'll let you know when you get it. It's the little microphone icon down at the bottom. I'm going to click Ask to unmute one more time. I know you get it because you got it last time. Are you there, Gordy? All right, I can't see you on the gallery view with your camera, so just keep trying, Gordy, and I can circle back to you. In the meantime, I'm going to go to Karen. Karen, go ahead. Oh, Gordy got it. Hold on, Karen. Gordy got it. I'm gonna mute you back.
Come on.
Okay, go, Gordy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. I had you, and then you muted yourself again. I love it. I love it. And while Gordy's figuring it out, yes, I see all the questions in the chat from Diane, from Mark, from Lenchen, and I think that covers them, so I'll answer all this. Gordy, you had it. You had it, Gordy. You were right there. Okay, this time I am going to move to Karen, but if you get it unmuted, just leave it, and I'll tell you, Gordy, and then we can come back. Karen, go ahead.
Hi, Patrick.
Hey, good to see you again.
Nice to see you too. I'm very interested. I have several questions.
Okay.
What's the difference in the amount of people closing sales, the people who are the artists that have just the environmental look versus in the actual room setting? I mean, is there a big difference if people can see it, the artwork in their own space?
Oh, you're talking about the AR versus the wall preview, right?
Right.
Yeah, you know, I would say the tendency is to think if you just have this one feature or this is that going to make the difference? And being a marketer, I can tell you that's not how it works. You have all of these little features, okay? And here's how Google explains it, and I love how Google explains it. And it's a basketball analogy. I don't know much about basketball, so just bear with me on it. You know, the guard, I'm going to go through all the positions. The guard comes down the court, okay? And he passes it to the forward. The forward passes it to the center. The center kicks it out to the guard. The guard passes it to the other guard, passes it back to him. He shoots and scores. Who gets credit for that basket? Now, technically, the guard gets credit, but all of those team players had a role in that score, and that sale, right? And so Google calls them assisted conversions. And so to your point is like, every buyer's a little bit differently. Every sale's a little different. Sometimes it's this feature that gets you over the line. Sometimes it's that feature that gets you over the line. Is it any one feature that makes all the difference all the time? No. If you have the live preview with AR and you can say this will show you conclusively how it fits in your house, it will get you over the line sometimes and get you sales that you otherwise wouldn't have. But at the same time, the market is changing so fast. The fact that we're doing this now, the fact that Zoom crashed today and was offline all morning because so many kids were coming on to video chats to run school for the first time because they went back to school today. Zoom couldn't handle it. Like the whole thing canceled this morning. Twitter this morning was full of all these teachers going, and I've got 50 kids in front of me for my first class, and boom, service down. I say that to say, I would get every single solitary perspective buyer onto a video chat. If they wanted to video chat, I would show them the work. I would show them what it looks like from behind. I would do that. That might make as big a role as the AR. So it's never any one thing, Karen. It's never any one thing. That's the important way to look at it. So if you're contemplating coming aboard and you're like, do I need to go for the other feature or not?
Right.
The most important thing that you need to be working on is not website features. It is your marketing efforts in the traffic. And that takes time, right? It takes consistency. And so every minute that you're thinking about anything that's not marketing relating is probably a waste of time. That's what I would say.
Okay, that goes into my second question as
Okay.
far as traffic. Um, are you recommending doing Facebook ads or something else? And is there a budget that you need to?
Great question. So we get this all the time. So how much money do I need to budget to sell my art, right? Great question. And I love answering it because it really spins your head around when I say this. Very, very little for a while, okay? Why? Everyone thinks that they can go into the Facebook ads marketplace and give Facebook $10 a day, $20 a day, $100 a day, and somehow profit off of that, okay? And I don't care whether we're talking about boosting posts, cold ads, warm ads, whatever it is. You might as well go to Vegas and or go into your backyard and light that money on fire. That's what's going to happen. You need, in order to advertise even a dime on Facebook, you need to be able to do 100 push-ups. 100 push-ups in one sitting, okay? What do I mean? I don't literally mean do 100 push-ups, which is really hard to do. But the 100 push-ups is your website needs to be set up correctly. You need to be capturing emails on a regular basis. You need to be emailing those emails on a regular basis. You need to be posting to the socials on a regular basis, ideally going live and having live art shows. You need to be having sales when the time is right and understanding all the mechanics of the sales, how to omni-channel market, how to use your email, how to use the Facebook post, the social post, all integrated together, how to extend a sale at the end. Until you are doing that, i.e. until you can do 100 push-ups. So I need to get your marketing muscles such to the point that you have all of these systems in place. Then you can contemplate traffic, paid traffic on Facebook or Instagram. Trying to do so without that in place, recipe for disaster. There is not a single solitary artist I've seen that's been able to make those pay that doesn't have the marketing system in place. So that's what I'd say. So very little to start out with. We have some, how do you solve the who came first, the chicken or the egg situation techniques and tactics, which center around print giveaways. The print giveaways can be as cheap as $25, $35, $45 per, but they're way more effective to get things going and kind of grease the skids early on than any Facebook or Instagram ads. So the long and the short is, it will take you a while to build up those marketing muscles. More acumen you have, the harder you work at it, the quicker you get there. But it takes a while, and it could take up to a year until you finally have it ready to go. But there's no shortcut to it. Like if you want to have a thriving, successful digital business in which you're selling a ton of art, you have to have those marketing muscles. So that's what I would say.
Right. Okay. I just went through a funnel marketing course, and they were recommending using like the title of, for example, art directors or art consultants and zip codes, and trying to narrow your target that way to get better results.
So they're talking about Facebook ads,
Right.
and the difference. I've run over $2 million in Facebook ads, Karen. Okay, I look at the data from 4,000 customers that are selling art every day. I can tell you conclusively the people that sold you that course are full of SH. The rest of it. I can tell you. And I don't mean to knock them. I'm sure they're decent at doing Facebook ads, but I know conclusively that they are completely full of it. Now, I'm not saying you probably didn't learn some good stuff from that course. Bet you did. But they do not know what they're talking about because they have not sold a tremendous amount of art. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a yes or no, I guess, but
Sure.
it sounds like a yes. When people log into the site, the artists get to retain their information, right? Their
Everything.
content.
You own 100% of all of it. That is the business model, and it's your website. All we're doing is providing the technology, but it's your website. It's going to be KarenHirsch.com. If they log in, we don't get that information. You get that information. It's your information. The artist owns 100% of all of it because that's the only way you're going to be successful. You have to be able to. The whole point of the art business, no kidding, no joke, and I'm learning this more and more as time goes on, is just to gain collectors. That's it. An average collector, okay, and this is Weiland's quote from his book. And by the way, I love this book. There are some rumors going around that he's the #1 in the world right now, by the way. No one's selling more art than this guy. Very smart. But anyway, that's his book, Don't Be a Starving Artist. So his quote is, the average collector, I think, buys 6 to 7 pieces over the course of their relationship, right? And so the whole job is just to gain collectors, okay? Because you gain collectors over the course of your life, and maybe it's like a 10 or a 15 or 20-year period that you're active. You're raising prices those entire times, and you've got a collector that came in that's going to buy 6 to 7 pieces of art spread around. So your job through all this marketing is just to gain collector after collector after collector after collector. You keep your head down. 5 years from now, you got 7 of them buying at once, and you just did a huge price increase. Like, that's how the huge business is built. You can't do that if you don't have all the data. You need to retain all the data. You know, you can't do it when you're selling through galleries because the gallery is going to keep all that data. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Are we allowed to use a picture of the environmental, like your bedroom, for example, with our picture in
Yeah, of
it
course.
for our own
Yeah, of course.
marketing?
Of course. You can use whatever video. You can use whatever you want.
Okay. And then the last thing about the merchandising site,
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you know yet how that's going to work. Can we choose our products from different vendors? And are
So
you
no,
taking
the vendor is just going to be Guten, and I think we're going to selectively pick which products from them that we're going to use. I know it's going to be ready before Q4, but I don't know what the exact dates are. So that's what we've got so far. It's not it's all the AP integrations in the back end, and we're now reliant on their software team getting it done. So I can't even poke or prod anymore. So it's just in their court, but it's coming soon. It's coming
Will
soon.
you be taking a commission from the sales of that?
I think so. I think we have like our standard transaction fees. I don't know conclusively the answer to that, but you know, I'm sure you've already had a demo. You can send an email to whoever your outreach person was, and they could answer. But I assume so. I assume so on the transaction fee side. But that's what I'd say.
Okay, well that's it.
All right,
Thanks.
thanks, Ken. Okay, next up is Brian, and then it's going to go Mary, and then it's going to go Kelly. So Brian, you're next. Oh no! I forgot about Gordy. Brian, sorry, he's been unmuted the whole time. Brian, you're next. Yeah, Gordy, you thought I forgot. Go ahead, we got you. You can start talking. You're unmuted. Oh, boo! It says you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. Are you there, Gordy? It says you're unmuted, and I could see you. I could see you on video, and I heard you earlier, but something. Maybe the levels are turned low or your volume or something. Just conspiring against you today, Gordy. All right, I'm going to go on to Brian. If you figure it out, we'll come back. We're gonna get you there one way or the other. Brian, go ahead.
Hey. Let's see. So I currently do most of my artwork sales through just direct to customer.
Okay.
I've done like a few through galleries and a few through just other people, like commissions.
Mm-hmm.
And I do sculptural light art.
Okay.
And so there's a technology component, a lot of manufacturing costs, and so my base costs are a lot higher than like canvas and prints and stuff like that.
What does your average piece sell for, just out of curiosity?
About 3K, 3,000.
Okay.
And I base my prices on taking into account what a gallery might take.
Mm-hmm.
And if I end up going in the direction of going entirely direct to customer,
Mm-hmm.
should I just keep those margins, or should I like drop them to possibly create more sales?
No, I would 100% keep the margins. I would 1,000% keep the margins. That, you know, we find almost conclusively, and people usually don't think this, but the higher the price point you go, the more you get people grinding on you no matter what. And the higher net worth individuals do not pay retail ever. And so you price higher and you give yourself a little wiggle room. I've done that my whole career and I love it. But also too, like, we have this tendency to think, and it manifests itself a couple of ways. But one, that when we send an email, that everyone saw it, right? No one saw your email. We're all busy. No one saw your email. No one cares. No one saw it. But you have this tendency, I couldn't possibly send that message again because everyone saw it. Same too with pricing. Everyone's going to see my pricing. No one saw your pricing. No one knows. You could raise it 1,000% for 2 weeks, drop it back down to where it was, and no one would know. No one would know. So you have the ability to experiment in there too, and you can do so completely fearlessly. But when you build in some extra margin, and then it's easy to drop down, right? Like, hey, Brian, I see that you're involved and you're looking at this piece. Wonderful. And I'll tie it all together for you, right? So I say we don't do the demo because the demo takes so long. One of the things that we have is a special sort of proprietary cookie our coders wrote that The easiest way to describe it is, let's say you had an art gallery, right? And in the corner of the art gallery, we had a video camera that looked at every single solitary person that came into the store. And what that video camera does is it says, Brian came into the store. He looked at this. He looked at this. He looked at that. He put that one in his cart, and then he left, right? So the software alerts you to the fact that Brian came in. He looked at this. He looked at this. He bought this, but he didn't. But he didn't buy this one, right? And so you have the ability to instantaneously follow up, and then the system prompts and says, Brian did this. Do you want to send him a message? Send him a message. Hey, Brian, saw you were checking out this. Thanks for buying that one. Saw you also checked out this one. I am looking to get rid of that one because I need to clear out some other inventory. If you wanted to make an offer, like, go ahead, right? So it gives you the ability to try all of those things. But when the price is high, you can always decide individually. I hope that answered. It was sort of a long rant.
Yeah, that's super helpful. I mean, I've also had the very direct experience that people who pay a lot of money are actually significantly easier to work with than people who pay a small amount of money.
Imagine that, right?
All of my customers who buy like $50 things, $100 things, biggest pain in the ass. But when I've got a dollar client, they don't care.
For sure.
They're super easy.
There's a flip side of it for you too, and you learn this as you go on in business. But everyone's followers, everyone on this call, even if you only have a couple of followers, it turns out that these folks are going to map onto the bell curve, right? So this part of the bell curve, right? Lower income, they might be fans, they might share your post, but they're never going to buy anything, right? And then we go up into the bell curve, into the middle class where the majority are, and then we come down on the high end where the high end is. When you contemplate the high end, if you don't have some expensive price points in your store, you're actually never going to attract these folks because they don't think the way that we do, right? They see a couple $100 item in a store and it lacks the prestige, okay? It doesn't blow their hair back. They're like, there's no way, right? So you put some outrageously priced stuff in your store, tremendously important. In your case, Brian, I would have a $25,000 piece, probably a $75,000 piece. And even if you don't ever sell it, and number one, you might, because the high net worth individual is going to come in and be like, I like this guy. I like his style. I like some of these other pieces, but they're too pedestrian and cheap for me. What's that $75,000 piece? And then what he's going to do? He's going to be like, but I'm not paying $75,000 because I'm awesome and I never paid retail and that's why I'm king of the world. I'll give you 50. And just because you had it in there, you're actually going to make that sale. That's number one. Number two, miss 100% of the shots we don't take. So put the thing in there, okay? Literally, I challenge you to do it today. Put something 75,000 in your store. Also, there's this technique called price anchoring, not technique, like psychological thing called price anchoring. And we feel more comfortable about buying the mid to lower end price stuff if there's something really high here, because it just in our mind psychologically says, okay, this is a good deal because this one's so expensive. I didn't get the most expensive one. I got this one. You feel better about it. So that's another pricing thing. But if you're selling well and you're doing it, you should request a demo. We can definitely help you. We got some good tricks in that department.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, man. Okay, Gordy, talk. Did we get you? Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Oh, patience, Gordy gets it done. All right, what's your question?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm on Macintosh today, so
That's all good.
That's half the reason right there, I think. But anyways, earlier in this presentation, one of the, I think it was Nick was showing the calendar of what to do each month and all of that and how it's all laid out. And one of the things that kind of piqued my interest was, I think through Instagram, doing the Instagram live art show.
Yes.
And selling art that way. Now, is that based on, would I be doing that on my own Instagram account or somebody else's? I've only got a handful of followers.
Yeah, that's a chicken and egg problem. We help with that too.
Okay.
I have firmly planted my flag, and going back months now. I think that the live art shows, regardless of what platform you do it on, but just the concept in general, is the single solitary biggest disruption to selling art and photography online that's happened in the last 25 years. It's going to forever change the game. It is an elevator. Okay, it's so new. It is an elevator. And how high up it goes, I don't know, but it's going to be extremely high up, where the doors are just now closing on the first floor. It is so new. There's so much to figure out. So early on, there's 100 different reasons why you want to be doing this. I've got a ton of content. In fact, April, will you put in the show notes? I do this twice weekly morning show, the CEO and I, called Art Business Mornings. And you'll be happy to know, Gordy, I stream it live simultaneously on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and into our private Facebook group. 5 places all at once. For my health, Gordy? No, because I'm trying to learn and get better at streaming and figure it out and all the kinks in the distribution. So the point is, I'm eating my own dog food on this one. I'm not just saying do this and then not doing it myself. Okay, I hate being on video. I'm live doing live broadcasts 2 to 3 times a day, 5 to 7 days a week. Why? Because I believe it to be the future of marketing, a massive part. So we have all the techniques, we have all the tricks, all the trade craft, how to title things, the timing, what happens when the technological snafus inevitably happen, how to get the most mileage after the fact. So, I constantly am instructing our customers, and we are pounding them to do live art shows all the time, constantly teaching it. And they'll come on and they'll be like, oh, it scared me so much, but I had a great time, and I'm definitely going to do another one. And then I explain to them, now go do 1,000 more. Literally 1,000 more, because it is that much the future of selling art. There is that much to learn, and it is that new. No one's got it all figured out yet. It turns out the more of these things you run, the less your heart starts going, boo, 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 boo. And then you just start getting comfortable. It forces you to merchandise your art, forces you to talk about your art, forces you to show your art in various different ways in the light, to understand the camera, understand the internet connection, to understand how to go not just to Instagram, but to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at the same time. So there's a tremendous amount of stuff to learn there. We teach all of it. Pretty much I teach all of it, and I think it's some of the best teaching on going live out there, period. How do I know? Again, 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes 2 times a day, since before the pandemic hit, I've been going live every single solitary day, and I've learned a lot. So that's what I got.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess I'll just learn how to unmute my mic and be all over it.
Yeah, that takes time too.
Yeah.
But once you got it figured out, Gordy, okay, did we get her over the line this time? We'll get her over the line. We'll get over the line next time.
All right. Well, thank you for the advice. And like I said, I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but I think I'm getting there. So
totally understand. All good, Gordy. Thanks.
All right, man.
Bye. Okay, Kelly, you're up. Kelly Vaudry. Okay, we got you.
Yeah. Yes, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, I did art shows for about 11 years. But even before COVID came along, my health changed. And so I'm trying to kind of reinvent what I'm doing. I sold quite a bit of art, but I sold it cheap. I still have people, even after 4 years, coming to find me I did pet portraits, and I just did a ton of them, but I mean, my average price sale was $300.
It's good.
I was doing huge volume. I did like 40, 50 paintings at Christmas, and, I've just kind of got it down where I can do quite a few of them. But, when your price point is $300, you just aren't, my average sale was about $300, and I just couldn't make money doing that.
Yeah.
I did the regional shows and stuff. So I'm trying to finally, because it was kind of accidental how I just went into selling these things. I got asked, and then more people asked, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, 11 years later, I'm trying to figure out how I can make more money doing less art, and being able to do it online so that I can, I figured out how to ship and all of that, but I'm also trying to use some of the work that I did for myself at that time in print. And I even got a distributor, gave them 4 of my images to work with. And I get this little tiny check every month, month and a half, something like that. But I just really want to do something different at this point. I want to make less art, better art. I want to do it differently now. And I'm wondering, are there supports for that? I mean, I don't know a lot about what you do or how much it costs or anything. So
it's funny too, because we have so the ecosystem that is the custom pet portraits is supporting a whole heck of a lot of artists out there. It's crazy. We have, no joke, like 15 different in different styles, doing it in different ways, different capacities. And so if you wanted to stick on that niche, you know, raise your prices, get an understudy so you don't have to do all the work yourself. Keep marketing it. There's a number of ways to go around it that way. You know, interestingly enough, we've yet to see any of the individual pet portrait artists attempt to sell the reproductions at scale. Meaning, I have a sheepadoodle. I come to Kelly because I want a portrait of the sheepadoodle. You ask me after you've made the portrait for me, which is my actual dog, can I sell these? I really like the way this one came out. And then you try and sell it, and it's crickets, because people only want the custom one. They want it to be their dog, right? They don't want it to be someone else's like off-the-shelf dog. That doesn't seem to work. So that's what I would say. That's one way to approach it. Another way to approach it would be, you know, pivoting to a new niche. Chances are, if you can do those portraits really quickly, you're probably a very talented artist. People really like your style. So, you know, you could potentially do some pivoting there. But either way, you're going to have to raise your prices, right? Yeah, you're going to have to raise your prices.
And I don't know what the top end of that is, you know? I mean, I raised my prices obviously over the years as I got more skilled, because when I started, I'm a self-taught artist, and I just didn't, you know, I mean, you know, I started selling them at 100, you know, and just to see what the market could bear. But I don't really know if it was strictly online, where I'm not going out and taking photos and all of that, if that's really a way to go. Or, you know, if I mean, I work in several different mediums, but when I was doing the shows, I could only bring the acrylic stuff out there because it was sturdy and it could travel. I mean, my pastels don't travel well, obviously, and things like that. Right now I'm doing some mosaic art. I mean, I just don't know if it's worth introducing new stuff, or, I mean, I just don't know. I mean, do you do consulting that way? Do you?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is one giant consulting. I think here's what I would say, big picture for you. If I get the uncertainty portion of things, but in many ways, you're in a good spot because you've been doing this for a long time. You've already sold. You know your work sells. You know the market likes it. So that part's done. You're validated. We don't have to worry about that. The part that you need to decide is if you're willing to spend the next several years working on your marketing. If you are, if you've got that bandwidth, mentally, physically, whatever it is, I want to grow this business, then yes, you should sign up and we will get you there straight up. And I could say that with no ego. But you have to make that commitment, because just because you've been a talented artist and just because of the sheer amount of shoe leather that you put down going to those shows and standing in that sunny booth and staying in that crappy motel and eating that crappy meal and then driving home exhausted, sadly, the internet doesn't care about any of that. It just doesn't. You still have to build up the attention. You need to build up the email list. You need to build up the social following. We are very, very good at teaching you how to do that. If you're willing and committed, yes, sign up. It's a no-brainer. We'll get you there. And also, you will have, I'm sure, a little bit more of a leg up because people are still looking for you. You probably have some emails, so you can get going.
Well, I've been turning them down because I just, you know, I just, for a few, I just don't want the pressure of, you know, unless I'm going to step in. I mean, I'm just sort of at that point where it's like, which direction do I take? I have the advantage of having a second income that allows me to, you know, not push on stuff if I don't want to.
Yep.
But I mean, it's really gratifying to have people go, oh my God, I love this, you know, hugs and applause, you know, I mean, but now.
But there's no hugs and applause button on the ATM machine, Kelly. You cannot go to the ATM machine and press the hugs and kisses button and no, doesn't work that way. So.
Love me with your wallet.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you do to sign up? Is it a monthly thing? Is there a contract? I mean, what is all of that?
Yeah. I mean, I think
we're going to talk about it later.
Yeah. The outreach team will show you after you request a demo. I think you do the soul searching. You find out whether or not you're willing to stick to and commit to the marketing. If you are, it's a no-brainer. We can help you. The good news is, you know, given how much disruptions happen, given the emergence, the prominence of live video, given the fact that you can do the live art shows, And the fact that you can do that from your house, you don't have to go anywhere, my dear. You don't have to load the car up. You don't have to sit in the sun for 8 hours, schlep things around. But you are going to have to work on your marketing to get an audience. So the links will be in the chat. It looks like you're on your phone, but the links will be in your chat. We'll email them afterwards. Request a demo, talk to the outreach team. But the more important part is get yourself mentally committed to years of marketing. If you do that, I think you're going to do great, and you'll have a great business.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kai. Okay, it's going to go Laura, Mary, Russ, and then back to Karen. Laura, what's up?
Hey, Patrick, how are you?
Your background game is strong. You're constantly mixing it up.
Well, I'm traveling right now, so it's a little challenging. But
got it.
So just want to share, I did request a demo, hoping to do that in the next few days if we can schedule it.
Okay.
So excited to learn more. Raised a few of my prices, not all of them. I know you suggested doing that. Feeling a little apprehensive. So I don't know if that's,
that's
I'm
normal.
so new to selling my art. So you think that's a problem?
No, I don't think it's a problem at all. I think you're running uphill right now, and everything is telling you to run back down the hill. I don't want you to listen to anyone but me. Just stick with me. Raise the prices. Keep going. It's going to get easier.
Okay. Getting there. So you're talking about the lives. I'm doing the lives. I do about this week is different because I'm not at home, but normally I do like 3 live art shows a week.
Wonderful. I love that you're doing that.
I mean, is there too much? Like, could you do too much?
No,
I mean, I don't want to annoy people.
You literally cannot do too much. And again,
it's good practice. I'll admit. Everyone, I learned something
For sure
new.
you do. For sure you do. And then, look, if you're doing 3 a week, and obviously one of them is going to be better than the rest, maybe that's the one that you email to your entire list, right? But it is wonderful practice. You should be picking up more followers with each and every one. You already have a decent audience. I've seen on your Instagram because I looked. I got some sort of. I left you a comment, didn't I?
Somebody did.
Yeah.
Somebody did.
No, it was me. It was me from the art storefronts. Because I went and looked. You left me a comment on one, so I went back and responded. But you're learning the trade craft. You're getting better at it. Whether or not you realize it, you're probably picking up followers. You will start selling stuff if you haven't already. There's some trade craft things that we can help you level up. But again, I'm not telling you to ride your bike to work and then going and getting on a private jet, right? Like, I'm practicing what I preach over here. I'm on these things 5 to 6 days a week, every single solitary week. And I'm running the marketing department at this thing. The CEO does the exact same thing. We're on them. Why? Because we judge them to be that high ROI. It's incredible. And really, at the end of the day, it's just an email. It's just an email. It's no different than an email. It's just an additional email that you can send. You go live, you're on. Maybe you get 2 people, maybe you get 10 people. Right now, we've got 17 people on Facebook. I've got 5 people on YouTube. So that's what I got. And we have pretty big followings. Those are low numbers, right? You think, it should be way higher. But you just keep getting better at it and getting better at it. And the minimum viable audience to do them is one-on-one. If someone sends you a message, Laura, and they say, I'm interested in doing it, I will do a personal showing for you anytime you let me know, right? Like, assuming they're qualified as someone that can actually pull a credit card out. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. So what I do basically is I'm trying to lure people or entice people to get on and watch live by offering, I call it exclusive show pricing, and I'll just discount.
Yep.
It's kind of murky. How long do I keep the discount up for? Is it just the show? Is it 24 hours?
Yeah. 24 hours. Well, it's much easier to do just the show if you're going to do it consistently, and there's going to be a flash sale all the time. Because if you have 3 people on and you're like, the discount ends at the end of the show, well, then the show's over and 3 people had a chance to buy it, right? So you can do that, and it's actually awesome, because what it does is it builds FOMO. Like, those 3 people are like, whoa, I didn't want any of those pieces. But what if she does it again? Now I got to always look and see whether or not she's online, right? So you don't know what you don't know. You just need to experiment early on. Say 24 hours, and then do 48 hours, and then do a true flash sale. Just be like, I'm sick of this thing. Okay, it's been with me for a month. I really just want to blow it out. I'm willing to give such and such off on this thing until it goes, right? Like, you can play with all those types of different things. But keep doing it. You've got a good Instagram following. It's growing.
It's painful, but I feel like it's all painfully crappy, but I'm doing it. Yes. I am doing it. So I don't know. I'm hoping, like with Art Storefronts, you guys will help to fine tune or just
Yeah,
I would
we have
love
the
to have a
playbooks on all.
larger
Yeah,
following.
we have the playbooks on all of it. So it's a no brainer for you, Laura, if you're committed to doing the marketing. It looks like you already are. So we'll help you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, would be the answer for sure.
Okay. Enjoy the
Thank you.
travel. Yeah,
Thank
have
you.
fun. Have some downtime, and then get back to the marketing. I'll be a broken record on that. Okay, Mary, you're up. Mary, you there?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
And quick side question to Laura Madden. Is this you? Is that you?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. It is. Yeah, she's giving the thumbs up.
Okay.
Awesome.
One more follower. All right.
Boom. And that's how you grow followers. One follower at a time.
One.
Yeah.
Zero for an hour, gain one more follower. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I just
No, that was awesome.
I had a question about what you get on either side, on the low end and the high end of the service. I know there's a monthly payment.
Yeah. There's essentially, like, the easiest way to think of the down payment, I think the one that starts at $1,000 and then it goes up from there, is that's your college tuition fee to college that never ends. Never ends.
Yes.
Right. From as long as you're a customer, we're meeting on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, teaching you guys, and so that goes without ever stopping. Right. From there, it's bells and whistles on the website, and I think the transaction fee drops on the higher plans. I think, and that's what we take per sale. And I think I don't know what the exact numbers are because I stay out of their domain and they stay out of mine. I'm territorial, like to get out of my domain. If you don't have any traffic, okay, and you don't have any marketing built up, no momentum, no email addresses, you're just getting started. You don't need all the other fancy bells and whistles. Just limp in on the cheaper plan, get started on your marketing, and then when you have some traction, you can always upgrade or downgrade at any time. So that's what I'd say.
I'm very, 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 very much a fan of all that I've heard so far. I've watched some of your videos and been looking on the website, different things. Unfortunately, I am not in a position right now, but I just wanted to make sure that I do all that I can to keep my ears open, learn what I can, and put myself in line so that when I am in a position to. But is there any other option for someone who's, say, in a financial position like myself, where
do you already have works created? Are you a painter?
Say it again?
Are you a painter or a photographer?
Photographer.
You're a photographer. Do you have printed work already that you've attempted to sell or no?
I'm very new to this. I haven't sold anything. I've been scared to post anything.
Yeah.
My last name is Rembrandt, and that kind of intimidates me a little because it's such a name that I don't want to start putting out something that perhaps is not presented properly.
Now that's a self-limiting belief if ever I've heard one. Yeah.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
That's a self-limiting belief if I've ever heard one or not. But
it is. But I've run across enough things in the past where something had a bad name with me, and then whenever I think of it, I'm not saying anything good about it. I'm not even looking at it. I'm saying, ugh, that stuff. I know that's bad.
Yeah.
And, so granted, yes, you can regain someone's trust if perhaps you didn't start right or whatever, but it takes time, and I just have been very nervous about that.
In startup land, there's this famous quote, and it's from the guy that started LinkedIn, and way bigger than just one company. This guy's like startup guru. If you're not embarrassed by your first version, you've launched too late. Totally believe that. And so the notion is that you're going to keep working on it and working on it and working on it and getting it perfect and not showing anybody because you're terrified and not getting the feedback and working on it and working on it. Meanwhile, the minutes turn into hours, turn into months, turn into years, and you look back and no positive steps have been made, right? And you don't know what you don't know. Only the market can tell you. And I get it that you see some things and gives you a bad name. One, I love the last name. Okay, I'm trading on the last name for days. Okay, I'm water skiing on that baby. So we're all blessed with certain gifts here, Mary. You won the last name lottery. We're rolling with it. That's number one. Number two, like early on, you don't know what you don't know, right? Like you might pivot 16 different styles. A large portion of your brand is going to be the work, yes, but the other portion it is Mary Rembrandt. who she is, the smile, the tone of her voice, the things that she's into, her quirky peccadillos, the whole combined package, right? That's how it goes. That's how it goes. You guys are solopreneurs, okay? The art is not the only part of the brand. You are a large portion of the brand too. So, you know, people are not going to hate you and your personality. You can put the stuff out there. If it doesn't go well, you can pivot, you can change, but you just need to work on your marketing. So, look, if your job was to sell knives door to door, Mary, what would you show up? What would you show up at the front door with when you knocked?
A big smile and my case of knives, I guess.
Okay, so if you're selling photography, okay.
Oh, okay.
What are we missing in this equation?
Wait, I'm missing something. You said if my job was to sell knives.
Yeah. So you got it, and you had the right answer, right? You'd show up at that front door, and I would knock on that front door, and what would you have in your hand? You'd have a bunch of knives to show me, right? So
yes.
What are we missing in this equation? I can't see behind you where all the prints are, Mary.
Right.
Where are they? Are they stacked up there? Are they ready to show? Because I don't see any. I don't care what your last name is. If you're attempting to show up door to door and sell me pictures of your cell phone, you got to be really good at your craft, right? Like you got to have the product. And so, you asked what you could do. 1, order some samples of your work. 2, try and sell it any which way you can. You know, pre-COVID, this was much, much easier because you would go to the local farmer's market, the swap meet, wherever you can get a booth in your town, right? And show all the work off and see how you did. Now, you know, the easiest way to do it is to go live on Facebook or go live on Instagram, show the pieces, talk about them, say, hey, I'm trying to get a business together. I know I have this famous last name. Oh, boo-boo, everyone's so sad for you on that one, Mary. It's lucky, okay? I have this famous last name. I'm terrified of trading on it, but I want to launch an art business, you guys. These are my pieces. Make me an offer, right? And go for it. And we've had people that have done that. We've had people that have done that and actually sold enough to join. And a whole bunch of other people that told me they were going to do it. I haven't gotten enough feedback from all of them yet, but they seemed convinced, at least when they got off the call. So, you know,
I like that idea because I think the thing that was the final nail in my coffin for like buying into your vision was some video I just saw the other day about doing like live stuff, and I was like, this sounds awesome, you know, yeah. So I like that idea, and I do have that's how I found you guys, was I was looking into like printers that I could find, so that, because for me, I want tangible art. You don't look at the walls. Don't look at the walls. They're not there yet, but that's what I want, is tangible art, physical art. Yeah. So I like that idea.
And also too, it's like, you know, everyone's like, well, I don't know what content to create, and you know, I just want to show my images. It's like, okay, here's some great content to create. Show and explain what a canvas gallery wrap is. Show and explain what a metal print is. Show and explain what an acrylic print is. You can't even do that right now. Almost nobody can do it because no one knows the difference. And I'm like, artist, photographer, just like the knife selling example. You're selling knives. Okay, why don't you have the damn knives to start with? Number 1. Number 2, you better be able to explain the high points. Okay, and most people can't do that. So having the samples of all of your different pieces puts you in such a unique way to be able to do it. You know, and I like again. Okay, I eat my own dog food around here. Okay, I eat my own dog food. There's nothing that I'm suggesting on this at all. And I got to turn my green screen off so I can show this off. Hold on, I forget how to do this sometimes. Oh, let's just see how it goes. Hold on. All right.